Hello everyone, welcome to the Sports Mechanics channel. It's Nicholas, and today I present to you the new Tiguan in the turbocharged direct injection 150 horsepower version. In this finish, the R-Line gives it this very nice sporty look, and as usual, we will go around the vehicle from the outside, the inside, take a ride on the road. Roads of all types, from city streets to highways. See how they behave, see the consumptions, and then we do a little debriefing at the end to know what I thought of it and what are the advantages and disadvantages of this Tiguan. Let's go. We start with the exterior. So we start with the front, as we can see right away. It's this light signature. I find it just sublime. So it's a bit like the Golfer, except here we don't have the top that lights up. We really just have these two notches here, these two kind of commas in LED. It's super beautiful. Of course, we have the full headlights with the IQ light here. So with the adaptive headlights, the automatic headlights and others, we will try to make a night video. If I can to try to show you all that, then we have the bumper. So from the R, we are on the airline finish. That brings us a big fake air intakes here, which make it a little more sporty, but it's filled. So there is no air. Now that passes there at all. There is nothing to cool down just behind, but these chrome frames is here with the chrome reminders a little bit everywhere that we have. So there. On the hood, it gives a really very nice look. So usually I'm not a fan of gray, but I think it suits him really well here. This version to this Tiguan with this light metallic gray. Like this, especially in the sun, we are really lucky. There is a beautiful sun. It makes it magnificent. We will have otherwise. So on the hood, a little good badge here. So two lines come close, forming a large U shape with two small reminders. It's rare for the National Institute of Statistics and Economic Studies line to be so close here and wrap around like this. The big buzz, again logo, that we know here. A small camera to have the 360 camera system. Just below we have the small parking radars, and then there we have another blade with a reminder of chrome at this place with glossy black here, like the bodywork a little bit everywhere, and like the grills I find it really very pretty. And on the headlights, as we can see, we have the scrolling turn signal at the front. So that frankly is something that I find almost indispensable now on a car, at least one that wants to be on a slightly premium segment. What it brings something, but really more at the level of the low turn signal on the side here. We have the small repeater that we see especially when we are there, because it's a DC too. On the side we have a Tiguan that really wants to be with tight lines a bit everywhere, so we have edges there on the reminders here. Same, we have really tight lines, so this one here that starts from here, that will really go all the way around to the back, and that will end in the fire just behind. We see that we have a vehicle that wants to be a little bit aggressive while still remaining quite classy. It gives a more imposing impression than the old me. That's the feeling it gives me. And at the same time it's compact, but it wants to be quite sturdy. In any case, I think this R version suits him really well. We have completely chrome surrounds here, and it's the same, so it goes with all the reminders like we have on the rods here at this place that wants to be a little thicker. So no plastic either. We have good quality. We still have the wheel arches in plastic since we have that today. In addition, a Ford Motion version, so that means we have four-wheel drive. So we can choose that and go off-roading with it. This one is beautiful. We'll avoid off-roading, but it's possible to do it, and we have a ground clearance here. Still quite haughty. I think we will be around the 20 centimeters at least, so we can still pass quite a lot of paths, and on small country roads or others, or on small paths, we can go there without worry. In terms of the rims, we will have today 20 inches at the front, as at the rear. They are just sublime. Same, so with reminders here in sort of shiny aluminum, and with black. So the two-tone as we have it, we have single piston brakes at the front and single piston brakes at the rear, with ventilated discs, of course, at the front for braking, and on the tires at the front. As at the rear, we will be on wind 255/40. We will also have had the little reminder of the finish that we have here. With the RR at this place, it's the same at the level of this car. We will have the choice between lots of different finishes and lots of different engines at the rear. We will also find full LED headlights with always the scrolling indicator here. And so these little commas here, as we can find on the front headlights, which gives a style a little bit more aggressive. And so with a band on top that lights up, and it's too small here, which stays lit at night, the little Ford Motion reminder here to remind you that we have a four-wheel drive version, and like all the Volkswagen, now it's written here that it's a Tiguan, in case you don't remember, a little spoiler at the rear. the third brake light that is integrated inside, and we see a little bit of body color. That's funny. It's quite rare to see it like that, which is directly placed on the body. The spoiler that surrounds it, often it's integrated in the spoiler. Small shark antenna up there. And we also have the roof bars with the sunroof and panoramic in this grand version reflector that goes all the way here, so maybe that's to remind a little bit of everything that is German premium. Nowadays, what often in the headlights is a large bank that crosses the entire tailgate. Then we will find here 2 fake exhausts, so it's just for decoration. Plastic, we can't put anything in it. And the exhaust is hidden. Just there, double small outlet, but well hidden behind. And there is the same. When we are a little further away, we see here that there is a kind of diffuser, so it gives an air even a little more sporty to this R version. Otherwise, we have the small backup camera just here, lighting of the plates in the middle, the opening of what to open the trunk, automatic trunk on this version. And for the trunk, we will have about 615 liters inside, so 615 liters. As you can see, it still leaves me quite a bit of space. And here I have a very nice little thing. I just have to pull here, and it makes my rear seat fall the same. On the other side, we will have here, hop, the bench will be there to make me a totally full floor, the same at the level of the loading threshold. Well, it is at the level of the trunk, and below this time I have a spare wheel. That's great. It's getting lost more and more on cars these days. So we have the jack and our rescue underneath. We're going to see if I can get in completely this way. What is the distance hop? So here I have my heels at the level of the driver's seat, and here my head comes up to here, so we can still load something quite large. At least something 1.70 m. Will fit from here to the moment when it closes up to the seat inside. We will also find a 12-volt socket at this location and a small light, and on the side small storage spaces so that it doesn't move, plus small clips for shopping bags. This is really top in terms of the dimensions of this car. We will be at 4.51 m long, 1.84 m wide, and 1.66 m high. Here, and for the weight, we will be at about 1,650 kilograms. On this 4-wheel drive version then today, under the hood we can find the 2-liter TDI, 150 horses, coupled with the DG7 box. You would have the possibility to have a 6-speed manual gearbox. On this vehicle, in terms of engines, we will have the choice. So a very wide choice that will start at 130 horsepower and which will extend up to 320 horsepower. With this range, you have plenty of options, either in gasoline, diesel or hybrid. So here we are really served. In the Volkswagen range, then it's the same as for the Golf, we really have the choice. The finishes are also customizable and prices start from Euro 34,110. And for a full option version car, with the top of the top, we will be around 60,000 euros. So it still leaves you plenty of choice to choose exactly what you want, and here we will find the diesel hatch with the diesels. Now there is the hatch blue, we can put up to 58 liters here. And with 58 liters and this 150 TDI, we can still do quite a few kilometers. Since this is one of the most fuel-efficient engines in its category, you can get in the back very, very easily. The front seat is adjusted for me. I am 6 feet tall and look at the space I have in the back. It's quite impressive. I'm really very, very comfortable. The bench is quite inclined towards the back, so it gives a bit of a sofa position. You can immediately feel that this version has leather seats. So right away I feel that although they are nice, they lack a bit because they are hollowed out in the middle. They are almost flat.
It really looks like a bench, actually a bench.
So if we put ourselves a little bit everywhere, it's good because we can move around. But on the other hand, I think that in a turn, well, we won't necessarily be very well held like on the side there. I think that at the back, we're going to get a little bit tossed around. If there's someone who drives really dynamically, at the front at least, otherwise we are well seated. We still have the little pockets here. I can put my phone everywhere. Right pocket, left pocket. Where I have my big pocket here. So on this Cedric, leather on the side, we have a finish that is quite nice. So we still have hard plastics all over the place. The Germans, it seems we always say the French in French, but well, the Germans don't necessarily do better. But we have this finish. So it's a kind of far away. It looks a little bit like it has a carbon effect, but it's printed. Well, it gives a nice little style with the red LED, which goes here. So we have the same little ambient lights in the cabin. At the front and at the back, I have my armrest. Here in leather with my window controls and a big handle. Well, that's pretty comfortable. On this side, I have my big armrest here in leather, so I won. You are always very comfortable. With 2 cup holders at this location. There. And there I am still well seated. I can take a long journey, and above all, there I have this large panoramic roof. So I find it just sublime. I love panoramic roofs, convertibles, everything that opens and everything that brings brightness. I am honestly delighted with the additional space at the front. It is really pleasant to be at the back in the middle seat. So hop, we have a big central tunnel. This time it's here for a reason. Since we have a 4-wheel drive version, so we have underneath the transmission that goes to the back to go do some 4x4 or drive in the snow or whatever else right here. Honestly, this is a good thing. Because the seats aren't too deep here on the side. Well, I don't feel like I'm falling on the sides. I'm almost flat. And honestly, I'm fine. The backrest is a bit hard, but we're not too bad. However, in terms of seatbelts, it's okay. It's okay. It wraps around my buttocks well, but I'm quite comfortable. I think even for 3 large adults, it's fine. Here it should be quite easy. Of course, we have the ISOFIX attachments on both seats. The back, and I have a small tab here that allows me to fold it down a bit. So I have the choice to be really very, very straight. Like this, or several positions. We still have several positions. This is pleasant. I think this most inclined position will be the best. At the back, I have large storage spaces in each door to put at least 1 large bottle of 1.5 liters plus some small packets of M&Ms, for example. Here, so the air conditioning, I can adjust the temperature, so it's a tri-zone. A small vent at this location and a cigarette lighter socket right here if I want to fold down the bench. So either I can pull directly right here the little tab and it folds it down for me. Flat floors all the way to the back of the trunk up to there and there. It's easy, same top tether attachment on both seats on the sides, and to raise it I remove it here and I put it back so it will go back to the upright version, and if I remove it I really take it all the way to the end. I move to the front so I easily get inside immediately. I fall into a Volkswagen atmosphere that I know well, so the screen here touch with a pretty cool feature that I'll show you right after my screen behind. So the virtual cockpit that is just behind my armrest here that I can adjust in height over the length. Like this, in this way of seats that hold up much better than at the back, so which goes up quite a bit here. This time so that I don't wander too high at the lower back here. Similarly, we hold up quite well up to this level. Just a little bit the large serratus, as I think it's called, at the rib level, to not move too much. And I come across this steering wheel, which is pleasant with small but full a little bit everywhere. I show you this rather from my eye here, driver's side, to give you the demo of this dashboard. And what's in front, here is the view we have roughly when we are here. Foot on the brake, I start here where I'm just going to put the contact with the start and stop button right here, and it turns on the contact, the car. Welcome. And so I have my 2 screens which lights up here. So there, as we can see, we have a nice screen here with, well, as we know at Audi, the little view button that allows us to change the meter very easily this way, and then we can still navigate thanks to this with the driving aids. The navigation is, for example, and the navigation, I can also put it in full screen in this way, so it will really allow me to be comfortable when I drive. I can also see it here, so I have information in 2 places. And it's the same. So this screen, as I said, we sweep the hand this way, and this screen, so what is nice and what is quite funny is that without touching the screen, I sweep this way and it will bring me the different screens. So if you do this and you come back, then you will have to pay attention to how you use it, but there you go. It's a bit of a gadget. It doesn't necessarily work all the time. And then you have screens with your little widgets that you can customize at this place, for example. That's consumptions, and we really have a lot of things at this place. We have a home button right here that allows you to return to 0. We can put favorites right here and scroll through everything. However, you can't go back to the screen from there as you want. You will necessarily have to do this with your hand. It's not super on point, but there you have to do it, in my opinion. It's time for me to also get used to seeing the right reflexes. I will start from the left. So we have here the plastics a bit foamed on the top, this finish. carbon style. So it's not carbon. When we really approach, so it's printed with small loops at the handle lock, unlock, the speakers right here, the door handle with the window, the mirrors, the frosting of the mirrors we turn this way. But the mirrors, then we adjust them, the window with the impulses on the 4 windows to cover the trunk just from here, like this, an automatic hatch. We can do it from here. A large storage bin can accommodate a 1.5 liter bottle at this location without issue. More other things here. Something to lift the hood at the front. The pedals then, with a nice aluminum pedal set. A 4th pedal here, or 3rd on this automatic gearbox that allows us to rest our foot well, something to adjust the steering wheel, height depth, and the steering wheel has therefore, which is this way, so as we can see we have a round there it continues, so it's not really round, we have a small port right here, because you can see it allows when we have our hand there and that the hand does not fall, and it allows to well wedge the end of his hand here especially when we have large hands, it falls perfectly. Then we have this place there, then a small but flat like on a little sporty cars, and this steering wheel with the R finish. Small reminder right here. On the left we have all the settings for the driving aids, so cruise speed limiter, and that the assisted work, which will allow to have level 2 autonomous driving. On the right, it's for the menus and the screen that we are going to adjust there. So my driving aids, the info, the phone and others, and then the views, so the dashboards that I can customize in several ways and also have a countdown like on a basic normal car. Then the volume keys right here with a haptic feedback. So when I touch, if I go to the left, when I'm going to get to the left, I'm going to have a vibration on the left. And when I go to the right, I'm going to have a vibration on the right. That's quite impressive. And the same for this place there to change. There is also a small touch that I love. The heated steering wheel, that's the most pleasant in winter. Then so this dashboard in this way, the vents, very simple. This screen, so as we talked about the climate block here, so the same with everything that is sensitive. So I can go up in this way to go down in this way by pressing directly there, the heated seats on 3 positions, passengers and drivers, defrosting, etc. The temperature that I can adjust the same. So in this way, or by sliding according to your preferences, we can go into the air conditioning menu, which will put the air conditioning at the top, so we can choose what we want. So either the front or the back, or synchronize the 2 of ventilation power, basically what we have here. But there, it puts it on the screen. Then we will find below 2 USB-C ports, so the new standards for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and a small 12-volt socket, and at this location, the induction phone charger. The small start and stop button, the auto hold parking brake, that's all the driving modes. So we will have access here thanks to this knob that we can turn this way or press here to have the different modes. So in relation to all these modes, we will start. So we have the eco comfort modes, normal, sport, individual. We can adapt, we choose everything we want, the training, the direction, the dynamic chassis control, the adaptive cruise control, the lighting assistance, the air conditioning. So we can choose that, and then we have when we turn the modes. So the driving mode snow, so this is for the snow. The DCC mode with driving mode selection. So this is the mode here, which will be the road mode specifically. We can choose, or precisely in the modes that we choose, individual, comfort, normal, or sport. Then we will have the driving off-road auto mode. So there, the car will select for you the best mode. And then we will have the expert mode, the all-road. This is really if you want to go 4x4, and you can adapt the same, plenty of options. The downhill assistant, the hill start assistant, the parking aid, all-wheel drive. So all-wheel drive, either normal or off-road. Really where it locks a bit more, it's differentials, and others the DCC, the driving direction, etc. The air conditioning, as we have on the other modes. The ideal for the road is to leave. So in this way, the road mode, we press on mode and we choose the eco mode or comfort. It will go very well. And the sport mode, if we want to have a drive a little more dynamic, a little lower here. So we have the reminder with the formation and the speed selector here. So we just press behind the little trigger and I select either parking or neutral, either drive. And in drive, I have 2 modes, either sport this way, or I switch to the side. And there I can go in sequential in less or more. And there I switch back to auto mode or auto sport behind, deactivate the start and stop. That's the park assist. I'll try to do a little demo, and that's to have the 360-degree cameras this way. I have my 360 cameras. I have a crazy version that looks like an official one. It's impressive. Look at the man running over there, and I saw him pass right here. This version is not bad. We have that too, so that's what we find. Rather on really very premium cars, it's rather pleasant. Then something I love about Volkswagen is that nice. Then something I love about Volkswagen, it's that, look, are you ready? I love this. There are two more. So these are cup holders. If you make a large space, if you need hop, and we can put one or two, this is great. And of course, we can close this part, central armrest, quite deep. And so this armrest, we can adjust to several positions, and we can move the seat forward and backward, several positions, and we can move the seat forward and backward, several positions, and we can move the seat forward and backward. What is very nice in this car, it's this large panoramic roof, which really brings a very, very beautiful view. Sure about our external environment, and in this car with this large roof in addition, we really feel good, not cramped. Has large side windows, and we have vision. Well, all that's left is to go for a little ride on the road. Well, all that's left for us is to try this new Tiguan. Let's see what it gives. Seatbelt, hop, so I settled in. Well, of course I have the electric mirrors. I love this little mirror here, borderless. That's nice to no longer have the edges. That retro foot on the brake start engine here. The car has retro foot on the brake start engine. Here the car has, which starts. So today we have a 2-liter diesel version. Small disadvantage for me with diesel is, so when the engines are cold or when we are stopped, we hear a little bit the diesel engine with this characteristic. I prefer it for the autonomy and comfort on the highway. I prefer it for the autonomy and comfort on the highway, for example, since we drive more on the torque, and it's still very pleasant to have a diesel to consume. It's still very pleasant to have a diesel to consume. I put myself in drive and off we go. So the handbrake deactivates automatically. Look, I'm gonna show you the turning radius right away. We have a car that does pretty well. It's not the best, but it's okay. We can sneak around just about anywhere. So we can sneak around just about anywhere in this way. So we hate these two ladies there, the vans like that, horrible. So a little close, we have a box that passes the reports below 2000 minutes when we are in eco mode. So as I said, the modes we can choose here. Here I have my mode will pass the reports, and I can also play we will pass the reports, and I can also play we will pass the reports, and I can also play I can play with my box in manual from this, or to be watched the reports, and well at this place, or to be watched the reports, and well at this place in D, and there the car passes in D and in D, and there the car passes back in D, and if I want to switch to sport box, I pull once there, I am in sport box. So we really have a lot of possibilities. Sequential palette with the lever here, sport and normal. So on a small speed bump, we will see what it gives. It's quite comfortable, it remains quite firm. Still not, this wagon remains quite firm. Remains quite firm, still not. This wagon remains quite firm with large 20-inch rims. So what you need to know is that the larger the rims, the thinner the tires, and that also contributes to the fact that the car is a little more rigid. Since the more we have a big rubber, it's like foam, more to come, the bridges game quite big. We'll go to 50, so of course I have all will go to 50, so of course I have all the driving aids. As I said, what I love is the work assists. I set my speed, there are lines, and the car will live its life. That's still the ideal, 50 kilometers hour. It lives its life, that's still the ideal, 50 kilometers hour. It does not adapt automatically. That's not bad, because sometimes it can be annoying depending on the areas. I displayed signs, I set the right speed, and there I let the car firm 50 kilometers hour. We hardly hear the engine. We know there is an engine running, but there I couldn't tell you if it's a diesel or a gasoline, so much that it is. It's the same engine, 2 liters, 150 horses. It's the same engine, 2 liters, 150 horses. I find this engine very pleasant, and especially in terms of consumption. At least on the Golf, we were below 5 liters on average. So it was impressive. We will see what it gives with this Tiguan. So at 50 it's top, and if I go to 70. So the car relaunches quite well. It's a diesel, and at 70, same, I am in 6th gear. I hardly hear the road, very light wheel noise, very light rolling noise. Since we know we're driving, we still have rolling. Since we know we're driving, we still have nothing to say about soundproofing. We are very, very good at the Germans and driving level, even in echo of a car that is quite responsive. That's great that we have several ways to adjust the direction, and if, for example, I pass it in sport mode there, we will see a direction that will be a little bit heavier and a little bit more directive, a little bit heavier and a little bit more directive to drive in a slightly more dynamic mode. And while put it in sport mode, it will change your direction just like the engine and others. So we can put ourselves in comfort mode. Now we started in eco mode, in comfort mode. Now we started in eco mode. Same at the level of the pedal response, which will maybe be a hair more responsive.
At the level of the passages will maybe be a hair more responsive at the level of the passages of roll. Same in comfort mode is that it is as comfortable as possible, a direction that goes back a little more comfortable like sport. And same, so there I don't know why I drive. I have assisted work. So assisted work allows you to follow the vehicle in front of you, maintain in the lines when there are, and also when you have activated, for example, the Android Auto or other, if you arrive at a roundabout or other, well, it will indicate it to you at the level of the keys.
Here we have the same keys that we have in the ID3, which are tactile with the Golf 8. We had the old generations, so it's the Golf 8, we had the old generation, so it's weird. But good at the level of the seat I'm 6 feet. I feel that I really have space between the elbows on the left and the elbow on the right. Honestly, even if you are quite corpulent, well, you will be good here. Because look, I really have my elbows spread out to rest on the sides, so even someone very tall will really feel at ease. Someone very small might be a little bit with their arms like this. I think it's a car that is quite made for people of quite large size, especially after being small. If we keep our hands on the wheel, there is absolutely no problem either. Let's go roundabout in dynamic mode, hop if I relaunch without going roundabout in dynamic mode. Hop if I relaunch without going to the kick down the car, relaunches quite well. So with 150 horses, it's very often more than enough on a car. So there, if for example I really put, there is not really oversteer or understeer. Is important. We don't really have oversteer or understeer is important. We go quite strong, very light, understeer really fixed to the road. No, we have a very good chassis, and especially a steering that is very precise. That is, it's pleasant. The assisted work with the maintenance in the woods, and the adaptive regulator will go up to the complete stop of the vehicle. So there I touch nothing more. We have a fire, the car really goes to a complete stop. It will typically turn on and off based on its remaining battery level. Or always touch nothing and the car received the vehicle in front. Alone in traffic. It's a delight in front, all alone in the traffic jams. It's the heated seats. Heated, rolling, and you enjoy with the heated seats burning heating, and you enjoy with A and small music.
So solo level, so here we don't have any sonobos or whatever. So on this we have sound system.
Especially with the usual radio, if you know, sound system, especially with the usual radio, if you don't know. The usual radio is the new digital radio that is mandatory. Since January 1st, 2021, all cars have had a feature similar to high quality MP3 playback in your speakers. So who is playing in very high quality in your speakers? So what does that give the road holding? Also, when has enough? Precise, even if it squeaks a little in the seats, and well maintained. And it takes me quite well. And on the change, very good chassis, nothing else to say. For a sport utility vehicle, it has a good chassis. All in dynamic driving, it's still quite pleasant. Let's go. We're going to get on the highway to see what it gives. The same for the restarts. Absolutely no problem with the 150 horses. It goes well in sport mode. I stayed in sport mode if I restart. And there you go, I'm already at 90 kilometers per hour. To overtake, we have the assistance in the mirrors, so blind spot. and I put my travel assist back on. I set it to 90 kilometers per hour and I let it drive at 90 kilometers per hour. It's honestly well insulated, no wind noise, very little rolling noise. Depending on whether we change the ground, no wind noise. Honestly, the car picks up on its own a little bit of traffic jams ahead. The car picks up on its own a little bit of traffic jams ahead, then 110 kilometers per hour the same. So we are in 7th. We have very little engine noise. We hardly hear anything. Then we are at... So sometimes this sensitive touch is great, but sometimes I activate the child branch without meaning to. There are so many menus, so I think you really have to get the hang of it to get used to it. I find more life, so at 110 kilometers per hour I am at about 1,600 revolutions per minute in 7th gear, so the engine is really not present at all in the cabin. It's pleasant. We have a lot of wind today. A windshield, and frankly very pleasant if we go to 100 windshield, and frankly very pleasant if we go to 130. So the car there drops me a report to be able to restart quickly to go put me at 130 kilometers hour, and at 130 kilometers hour we start to have a little bit of wind around the windshield, which is normal. We start to hear very slightly the noise of the engine, almost no rolling noise, just a little bit of wind noise around the cabin, but it remains frankly very pleasant even with these 1-inch rims, and in the end it filters the road quite well, and we will be able to cover quite a bit of distance with it. So I wouldn't say it's still well installed. So as we can see, it's still well installed. So as we can see on the screen here, it tells me that over the last 50 kilometers, so I've done 50 kilometers in 2 hours 13, the toys of the Paris region, so with a bit of peripheral, a little bit of highway, a little bit of road, quite a lot of towns. I have an average at 7.4 per 100 kilometers. That's really not ridiculous for a big SUV of this size. So there you go, 7.4. If you do the highway, or if you really do the national departmental, we can reduce. We will be around 5.5. 6 liters easily if you only do small roads. 70-80, then here we have a little acceleration test at 0 to 100 meters. It puts a little acceleration test at 0 to 100 meters. It takes still quite a bit. It moves forward. There we were, takes still quite a bit. It moves forward. We were at 100 years. And it's quite effective. So I wouldn't say it's sporty, but as I said, we can have up to 320 horses on this car. We will have a really sufficient engine for the majority of cases. Did not test the braking. We will test a big braking watch out for braking. On the other hand, we have something that is really very powerful, so it really stops us. Well then, over time, I don't know what it will give. In any case, with these big tires, the suspension, as you saw when we brake from off this one, is that, well, the vehicle does not dive. Look, see that even when I accelerate, it does not lift the vehicle, and when I brake, the car does not dive. That's ultra pleasant. Also in sporty driving, we will also try to see the reaction. If I don't, we will also try to see the reaction if I no longer touch the system, since we have a lot of assistance on this car. So if we have the front assist, the collision election, etc. So now it tells me to take control. There is no one around me. There is just someone. So we will see what it will do for me. So we will see what it will do to warn me. But some little breaks like take control. There it rings. And there it goes up to the complete stop of the vehicle with the hazards, as long as I don't take back the acceleration pedal. So the car was going to stop nicely by putting the hazards on the side of the road. Not bad. It changes from the seat, which the seat, it really tried to wake you up. It was pulling the brake, it was honking. This one is still more civilized. It will go to stop nicely, is still more civilized, and it will go to stop nicely on automatic parking. How does it work? So here we are going to be on automatic parking. How does it work? So here we are going to be parked in herringbone. I press my little button and then the place, and it should find me one. So here it is, the place, and it should find me one. So here it found it. I pass my reverse, it activates the cameras, and then I have nothing more to do. It's super pleasant. You just have to look left, right. with the little BB, and it's to the left, to the right with the little BB, and I stop, it tells me it's finished neutral. And I stop, it tells me it's finished neutral, and there you go. It's good, I'm parked, I'm a parking ace. So we supposedly have an all-terrain car. It's mostly about having all the cameras like that, all-terrain. It's mostly about having all the cameras like that, so we can have the back, the front, the sides. We can also just choose the sides to see where I put the wheels. Wheels that can be top for really doing wheels. Wheels that can be top for really doing crossing or other. So we have here a little terrain crossing or other. So we have here a little terrain of how it behaves. So hop, so to do real all-terrain, the turning radius, it's okay, it's enough, and I'm going to switch. So in mode here, so I cut my cameras, I change mode. I'm even going to mode the expert all-terrain mode. So for example, the assistances, etc. A full off-road transmission, and let's go. So for example, if I want to go put myself a little bit in there, so you see there it's a little bit in there, so you see there it's a normal car with the airline. To test this, go there. So for example, if I want to come out there, go there. So for example, if I want to come out there, and there, as I have a 4x4 car, and even being a little bit sideways, the car will drive and four-wheel drive, and that will still be super pleasant, it appears. So I can go back, a man is really going there while it's super dug, and in the middle there is a big hole. So it's the same, I don't necessarily have the adapted legs. We are a good ground clearance. Well, it's practical. We are a good ground clearance. Well, it's practical, then the car slides a little. But it's possible to, then the car slides a little, but it's possible to do this kind of things thanks to the four-wheel drive, and there I get back there. So in this way, and I take the car off-road, you could almost do a review, so how it's dug into the ground here. And frankly, she handles super well. I'm not necessarily going fast, but we feel that the car is good, it is made for, and that will pose no problem. Is the same. So if I go back like this way, look, there she is really inclined sideways, and I can leave absolutely without any problem, and it's driving without problem. Let's test the Canon start in the dirt, and frankly it goes without a problem. We look like this if you wanted to have a little bit of fun without sliding too much. We try to pass between the trees. It's a real all-terrain in the end. In this car, and even on this kind of path, quite high nothing. It really goes everywhere, and I even have no worries to make. Compared to the one to turn, well, it goes all by itself. Honestly, it's one to turn hop, well, it goes all by itself. Honestly, it's really a go anywhere car. Hello, so I'm giving you a little driver's side point of view to show you what it looks like directly from my point of view when we are driving. We have a digital screen here, so which is very large and really takes up everything with just on the sides. But the information for the gas and the temperature on the left, this screen here, as we said, we sweep like this with the hand without touching it. It's quite funny then, it's a bit of a gadget, it's quite fun. When we stop, we have the start, and stop, we have the 7 box today. With the reports that are happening, and we absolutely don't feel it, we just hear the engine noise. A little bit, but otherwise we really don't feel it at all. And well, when the reports are happening there, I feel nothing for me. It's constant, it's continuous there. I feel nothing for me, it's constant, it's continuous in imperceptible, and it's very pleasant, as we could see there. The start and stop as soon as we are around 5 km per hour, well, it's already going to cut the engine to let you arrive on the free wheel at the stop or at the stop. And that allows me to show you a night version, to also show you, I'm doing a night version, to also show what it looks like at night, and here's what it looks like at night. So the mandolins from there, and we have something really simple. And when I turn, so the headlights are not directional, they are adaptive, so that means that at night on the small country roads, they will go to high beam all by themselves, And if I meet another car, well, the headlights will go back to normal mode. I also quickly show you on the phone from the outside what it looks like when I open the car, so it lights up in this way. So I really show you the headlights. And so here's what it looks like at night on the front. Of course, we have the light that illuminates the ground right here and the beautiful rear headlights in this way. We have the headlights that move a little bit since we have adaptive headlights. So there you have it, frankly, something sober. Not too much frills inside this Tiguan. It won't be like a Golf or Nagi 3, which will be much more modern and where there will really be a lot more frills and a lot more light inside. Okay, let's go back to daytime. And there you have it. So it's night presentation. So after trying this Tiguan over several kilometers and having done all possible conditions on road or other with a little bit of off-road here, well then, without necessarily really pushing it in the whole road, what did we think of it? What I really liked then is really the design. There's really an effort that has been made in terms of design compared to the old one. We have something more aggressive than, especially in this R version that we have today. We have a car that really looks more current, at least in terms of its exterior lines inside. So I would have liked them to make a little extra effort. I don't get the impression that it's really with the haptic feedback, etc., which are a little bit which are a little bit like on the ID. 3, that's nice. The small touch climate controls, but the screen there, I would have liked them to be a little bit higher. Now the screens are getting higher and higher so as not to have to take your eyes off the road. The sliding with the hand is a bit of a gadget, not necessarily useful. As a passenger, we are top at the front, but in dynamic driving at the back, it can be a bit uncomfortable. But otherwise, to drive, we are passenger in dynamic driving, but otherwise to drive, it's really top. The chassis, excellent level road. Holding the car is top, whether at low speed, at liked for a sport utility vehicle. The fact that at braking already, liked for a sport utility vehicle, the fact that at braking already, the car does not dive. That's super pleasant, that the car, it does not wander from left to the car. Well, it does not wander from left to right.
It doesn't give seasickness. That's super pleasant. So maybe it's
the R version that wants that too. The rims with 20 inches, it's top. Despite the fact that they are quite large, it remains rather comfortable. So it's sure that if I really wanted a super comfortable car, don't take an R version, take a normal version with 17-inch rims, for example. It will allow you to have bigger tires and they really improve comfort. Again, the sunroof option, I recommend it with the large panoramic roof. It brings light into the cabin. This gray is rather nice. I would have loved to see it in blue. But in the end, nice, I would have loved to have it in blue. But in the end, it has something very nice that changes from the usual gray at the level. Among the positive points, we also have the fact that these 2 liters, 150, well, they really don't consume much. We are below of the 7 liters of average consumption, having done under the 7 liters of average consumption, having done some. Good for a sport utility vehicle this size. So without other hybridization, we will be around 5-6 liters, which is correct. We will be around 5-6 liters, which is correct. We also have a 4-wheel drive that also plays on consumption. This 2 liters, 150 horses, it is good. It may lack a little bit of punch to drive the car. With an R version, I would have put a little more horses. Otherwise, it is really pleasant to drive. On a daily basis, the G7 box is starting to be well known at Volkswagen. It's super pleasant to drive. It's fluid. It's soft. We don't hear the engine too much except for in town and when they go up a little bit in the towers. Otherwise, on the highway, really comfortable. It's well soundproofed. So for me, really a good car, but which could have been a small reproach that I could make to it. Otherwise, that's it. A small reproach that I could make to it. Otherwise, we stay at Volkswagen. We have a good car. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, don't hesitate to give a little blue thumb up if you have. Ask any questions in the comments if you have other things. To ask them in the comments if you have other things. In case I thank you for watching this video, it was Nicholas, and I tell you, see you very soon. Bye.